So we're back from our trip through Western Canada and Alaska. Tonight I want to talk about what we expected when we set out on this trip versus what actually happened.
The reality.
Yeah, the reality.
Hi, we're Lane and Sherry. We've been traveling together for more than 40 years.
So come join us on our latest adventure when we travel through Western Canada and Alaska. We've got a lot of things to see, so come join us. So before we start in on what our expectations were, I want to emphasize that this was our experience based off of what we did, where we went, how we drove, what vehicle we were in, and the time of year.
Yes.
A lot of different variables come into play when you're going on a long trip like this.
And we went from the middle of August through toward the end of September.
Yeah. Which is a totally different experience than if you went end of May.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, expectations. First off, I think our expectations was that this was going to be a long road trip with an emphasis on this is a road trip.
And it was a long road trip.
It was. Yeah, we drove just barely shy of 8,000 miles. So it was long.
In almost 6 weeks.
Yeah. But it was a road trip, and we like road trips.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Our next expectation was that there would be spectacular scenery.
And there was just fabulous mountains, streams, lakes, rivers, glaciers. It was beautiful.
Yeah, really, once you passed Idaho Falls, there's nothing wrong with going from here to Idaho Falls, but it's just traveling down I-15. And we are so lucky to have I-15. It's a great travel road to get places quickly. But a lot of it isn't that pretty. But once you get past that, it seemed like it just got better and better. And once we hit parts of the Yukon, Alaska,
it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I think that very, very much met our expectations, our hope.
Or exceeded it.
Yeah, for the scenery. Yeah. The next expectation was that we would see a lot of wildlife.
And we did. But it took a little while to get there. You're not going to see that scenery, at least we didn't, from day one or day two.
No, especially once you get, you've got to get north of Calgary.
Yes.
North and west of Calgary.
We ended up seeing, 12, 13 bears?
Yeah.
About...
I think we had 11 moose.
11 or 12 moose,
Yeah.
3 dead, the rest, and 11 or 12 live ones, I think.
Yeah, live ones. It was interesting to see how many dead ones, not that we like that.
And only 1 dead bear, but...
We saw a lot of sea lions, a few sea otters. The whales we didn't see so much. We're kind of late in the year.
The only trouble was the porcupines.
Yeah, the poor porcupines. They need to be a little more fleet of foot.
I think we saw 6 dead porcupines, 1 live.
Yeah, they can't scamper across that road very quickly.
No.
So they should stay off the road.
And we saw some sheep, both stone sheep and doll sheep.
Yep.
Caribou, elk, deer.
Yeah.
A lot of different things, coyotes. A lot of different animals.
Yeah, the wildlife was pretty cool.
Yeah. And lots of places to see it.
Yeah, I think as far as bears go, the Fish Creek Observation Site and Solomon Gulch.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
And there's always some on the side of the road too. And that's always good to see.
Yeah. Okay, so our next expectations was the roads would be rough.
And the roads are no joke. Now, I think we had maybe a little different experience in the fall as you would maybe in the spring. Maybe they've spent all summer working on them. But you need to pay attention to the roads.
Yeah, the roads, there were some rough sections, no doubt. However, the hype that we were getting from all the videos and the things that we read about was, you're probably gonna, break things on your truck and your trailer. That was not our experience.
It was not. But it helps to pay attention to the road, go slow, watch the vehicles in front of you. And there's some bad areas. Which areas would you say?
Really, I think two stood out to me. The area in Destruction Bay up to Toke, and then from Toke a little bit further on.
And Chicken.
Yeah, Chicken.
The road to Chicken was bad.
Chicken was pretty rough.
And other than that, really, there's roads that are better than others, but same thing you have here at home.
Right. I can get just as rough of a bump going down the freeway on I-15 going to over and overpass as I got on anything.
Right.
Of course, I'm going 80 miles an hour instead of 30. So, that might make a difference.
That's right.
But, the roads were rough, but I didn't think they were as bad as what I was expecting.
This is true, but there was a lot of construction. That was surprising how much construction there was.
Yeah.
And that's good. They're trying to take care of them.
Yep. Nothing against the Yukon, but I did find when they were doing the road repairs, it seemed like Alaska road repairs
We're a little better.
seemed a little better than the Yukon.
And I was told that there's not a lot of people in the Yukon, hence they can't take care of the roads as well.
But all in all, I thought the roads were not as bad as my expectations.
Yes.
Okay. The next expectation, it will be expensive.
And it was.
It was.
It met our expectations.
Well, and I think a lot of that is we were gone for 38 days. We were gone for 5.5 weeks. And the majority of our expense was for one thing. Fuel. Yeah.
And it was expensive.
Yeah. Overall, we spent $4,460 on fuel alone. Let's see, what are the statistics? We filled up with 917 gallons of gas.
That's a lot of gas.
And the average price was $4.86 a gallon. And the maximum we paid was $6.25 a gallon in Belle Two Lodge in British Columbia.
And as bad as that sounds, it's still cheaper than California.
Yeah, sometimes. But I think we did find that whenever we were further away, more remote, more isolated,
and less gas stations around.
fuel costs more.
Exactly.
Imagine that. So, going on with the expenses, our next biggest expense was campgrounds. We spent $1,583, so pretty much $40 a night. And when we got up into Canada and Alaska, more remote, it was a little bit more expensive to a lot of the time stay in the parking lot. Sometimes the campgrounds were really nice. We stayed in some really nice ones, but
some not so nice. But we decided as we went along that power and water, sewer, laundry were very nice to have.
We kind of liked having that. I think initially we thought, we'll stay every other night in a provincial campground or boondocking out in the middle of nowhere.
And you certainly can.
Yeah, you could save quite a bit of money if you're set up for that.
Yeah, you've got to be set up to do that.
Yeah, I think we'd have to make some changes to the trailer.
To do that, because a lot of times it's overcast or rainy, so you're not going to get your solar panels filling up quite as quickly.
Yeah. And I think you'd want to have maybe a little bit more battery capacity. Anyway, but I think that the upshot was we stayed in full hookups as often as we could.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was
okay.
good.
Yeah, that's good. And our next biggest expense was, this won't be any surprise, food. We rarely ate out for breakfast. I think only one time the whole time. And that was more of a brunch.
Yeah.
Lunch occasionally.
Occasionally. Sometimes dinner.
Sometimes dinner.
Either lunch or dinner. We ate out quite a bit, and a lot of that has to do with the way we traveled, because we would have liked to have longer. I mean, it sounds bad, 5.5 weeks, but you could easily go. We could have easily been gone 7 more weeks. So when you're traveling all day and you've got somewhere and you're going to hurry and get hooked up for the night, it's just easier to grab something sometimes than cook. Now, we enjoyed cooking, and if you're somewhere for 2 or 3 days, it's easier to cook.
Yeah, absolutely. When you got set up, and then you got to spend a couple hours putting together a video, it does take some time.
Yeah.
So.
And you can save money doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe not eating out quite as much.
Yeah. Our next biggest expense was excursions, and we did not do a lot.
We didn't. When we tried to go fishing, but there was a big storm and it got put off 3 or 4 times, and then we would have had to wait a week, and we didn't have that time.
Yeah. So we went out on the Lulabelle, and we took the ferry over from Skagway to Haines, and those were great.
Yeah.
And then we did a few other things. We bought a fishing license, even though we didn't do too much fishing.
We tried to.
And we did a few other things. So, and that was okay. And then we spent a little over $500 on miscellaneous. And what was that mostly?
T-shirts, magnets, stickers.
Yeah, that pretty much covers it.
Candy for the grandkids.
And the last category that we put everything into was maintenance. Really, we washed the truck and the trailer a couple of times. And the only other maintenance thing we did was fix the windshield.
Fix the windshield.
And, I think we can throw this in an expectation. I expected to have a totally trashed windshield by the time we got home.
And we did not.
We did not. We got one chip, and it was a bad chip.
It was really bad.
The company that took care of it did a great job.
Yeah, and they were able to fix that. So yeah, and along with that way, we expected to have more issues with tires and stuff like that. But both the tires on our truck and trailer were new, and they're nice tires. And we did not have any of those issues. And part of it, too, is the way you drive.
Yeah, we had 2 spares for the truck, 2 spares for the trailer. So all that was good. Yeah. So, what did you think was the most scenic area we went to?
To me, it was a drive from Palmer to Valdez. If you're going that direction, a lot of people will come straight down from
Toke and then Toke to Glen Allen.
And so it's they'll say Glen Allen to Valdez, but I liked it coming the other direction, Palmer to Valdez. Beautiful.
The Matanuska Glacier area was fantastic, and you got the Matanuska River right there.
And all the waterfalls, the mountains, it's just stunning.
Yeah, and that last little bit going into Valdez, there were hundreds of waterfalls. Of course, that was partly because it was raining so much.
every time we got down by the coast, it rained.
Yeah.
And we didn't make note of it, but I bet Lane set up and took down in the rain numerous times.
Yeah, quite a few times.
Yeah, but still beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah. What were our biggest surprises? Well, to me, the biggest surprise was we went to an area where we did not even intend to go. When we were leaving Jasper and then going down to Banff, we wanted to stay in the Tunnel Mountain campground. And we couldn't get in there for a few days because it was a weekend and it's still pretty busy up there. So we went over towards Red Deer, a little bit out of the way, and we found an RV park called the David Thompson RV Resort.
On the David Thompson Highway.
And it's basically on the east side of Banff and Jasper National Park. So you've got the same type of scenery, and just to find something unexpected.
With hookups. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Our first campground in Jasper did not have hookups, and it was, got cold.
Yeah, when it's down below freezing,
Yeah.
I just didn't have power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, they start shutting down in certain parts of Alaska and Canada the end of August. It kind of starting to feel like fall. They consider it that, and especially after once you hit Labor Day, things start shutting down. And I was concerned about that. But even though there were things that shut down, you could still find plenty of places to stay, plenty of places to eat, and I was worried about that. So that was kind of a shock for me. It was good. A lot of places are open till 30th of September, and some even into the first part of October.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, and if you were just boondocking, doesn't matter to you. But I think relative to where we stayed, you got to understand, we were very flexible. We did not start out the trip with one camping reservation.
We did not. We made a lot the day before we were going somewhere. I think the most we did was 2 days.
2 days in advance.
Some that morning.
Yeah. So if you're flexible and you're going a little bit later in the year, you can do it that way. Yeah. So we're gone for a long time. What did you find the most difficult about
being
that
gone
trip?
that long? I know it sounds vain, but my hair. I had it done and cut a little shorter just before I left, and so the length wasn't any problem. But I get my hair done every 4 weeks, and those extra 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks was not good. It got to the point it was really bothering me.
You know, if you just let it go.
Your color?
My color?
Not quite ready
would
for that
not
yet.
be a problem. I think to me the most difficult thing was, we're used to having a lot of space. And when you're living in a 22 by 8 foot box, and then when you're not there, you sit in the front of a pickup truck in the cab, just being that close all the time. I love you dearly, but sometimes I just need some space.
I know. At least in the motorhome we have 2 bathrooms. Here, if you want alone time, it's raining and stuff outside, and you couldn't go outside, you have to go in the bathroom and shut the door. I mean, that was difficult. That was difficult. Hey, we listened to 12 books on tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there was a lot of togetherness, and even though our kids didn't think it could happen, we did not kill each other.
I'll chalk that up to a win. Anyway, I think that we had a fantastic trip.
We did.
I had way high expectations, and I think it met them. I think we would need to go back because there are a lot of places that we didn't go that we'd like to go to.
Let's talk about the places we didn't get to.
Yep.
We would have loved to go to McCarthy, Kennecott area. We would have loved to go to Whittier.
Yeah, even though that would have just been probably a day trip, maybe one night. The other place that we didn't get to that we really wanted to was Dawson City.
I would have liked another day in Fairbanks.
Or 2 or 3.
Or 2. And like we went to Denali, I would have loved a day there. But when it's windy and it's raining hard and you look and it's going to be windy and rainy for the next 3 days, you don't stay.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our cost and a lot of stuff is because we traveled, stopped. If you have the time and you can go somewhere and stay more than one day, it will cut down on your costs.
Yeah, because you're already driving the distance, and if you just stay a little bit longer, it works out that way.
Yeah, easier to cook at home, easier to see stuff in the surrounding areas that we maybe didn't get to see.
So overall, the trip was great. I hope that we can go back. I really, I think I would definitely like to go.
So would I. There's too much to see. We didn't go up the Dalton or the Dempster,
Right.
or we didn't do the whole top of the World Highway. There's just so much to do.
Yeah. I think next time it'll be more. Yeah. But we got lots of great adventures, so man, hit the subscribe button and keep seeing what's coming up for us next, because we'd love to have you come along. And we'll see y'all on the road.